a sudden death, a shocking arrest, and a disappearance no one can explain. The hometown cast once felt like family, but in 2025, everything changed. These aren't rumors, they're real, and more unsettling than you'd expect. Stay around as we uncover the twists you never saw coming. The story behind Hometown. Before it became a primetime favorite, Hometown was just an idea rooted in paint chips, wood scraps, and a dream shared by a small-town couple. Laurel, Mississippi was once a place many Americans had never heard of, and fewer still could find on a map. But everything changed in 2016 when HGTV introduced the world to a series that didn't just transform homes, it transformed hearts and hopes too. Laurel was not always in decline. Once a bustling hub for the timber industry, its streets were filled with life and commerce in the early 1900s. But time had other plans. Factories shuttered. Buildings crumbled, families left. What remained was a once proud southern town now fading into forgotten history. Then came Ben and Aaron Napier, a couple as authentically southern as sweet tea and magnolia trees. Their vision was simple: to breathe new life into their hometown, one renovation at a time. Aaron, a visual artist with a passion for storytelling, had an eye for creating interiors that echoed the past while feeling fresh. Ben, a craftsman and history buff, brought charm, strength, and sawdust to the equation. Together, they weren't just hosts, they were ambassadors of a forgotten America. Hometown debuted on HGTV in January 2016. Unlike the formula-heavy shows dominating renovation TV, it had a different heartbeat. Instead of chasing celebrity status or crafting drama for ratings, Ben and Aaron focused on restoring homes with character for people with stories. Every episode was not just a construction project, but a quiet tribute to family, memory, and the deeper meaning of home. The format was simple, yet powerful. A local couple or family looking to settle in Laurel would purchase an old, often neglected house. With the help of the Napiers and their talented team of designers, carpenters, and builders, the home would be transformed into a livable space, tailored to their story and needs. Along the way, viewers learned about Laurel's history, the quirks of Southern architecture, and the soulful bond between neighbors in small-town life. As the seasons progressed, the show gained momentum. Fans began flocking to Laurel, not only to catch glimpses of filming, but to experience firsthand the community spirit the show captured so well. Local businesses, once on the brink of closing, saw new life. Tourism bloomed. Laurel's economy, long stagnant, began to turn around. Hometown was not just about renovations, it became a movement. Spin-offs soon followed. In 2021, Hometown Takeover premiered, taking the Napiers to other small towns across America in need of revitalization. The couple, once shy about the camera, now stood as symbols of resilience and community revival. They opened stores like Laurel Mercantile and Scotsman Company, offering handmade goods that reflected their values and love for American craftsmanship. With more visibility came deeper influence. Aaron's artwork, blogs, and books gained national attention. Ben's woodworking inspired a generation of makers who found joy in tradition. And in Laurel, a once-forgotten town was now the backdrop for weddings, festivals, and a tourism surge no one expected. The show became more than television. It was a real-world restoration of spirit and economy. But while the show was being celebrated for its warm tone and heartfelt message, not everything behind the scenes stayed picture-perfect. As more episodes aired and new faces joined the team, the story began to deepen. Some cast members brought their own baggage, their own shadows, and their own unresolved histories. A few would eventually leave the spotlight for reasons no one could have predicted. Personal tragedies, quiet feuds, business tensions, and brushes with the law would occasionally ripple beneath the surface. Nothing that ever broke the show's image entirely, but enough to leave viewers questioning. Those beautifully renovated homes and freshly painted porches told one story. But behind the scenes, other stories lingered untold and more complicated. Viewers who had once tuned in for old floorboards and shiplap started asking questions. Who were these people beyond the smiling scenes? What struggles were hidden behind the glow of HGTV? Were there darker chapters waiting just beyond the sunny front porch? You know their smiles, their laughter, and their handiwork. But what if some of them had personal stories that never made the final cut? Come with us to find out. Aaron Napier. From the very first episode of Hometown, Aaron Napier stood out, not because she demanded attention, but because she radiated something rare on television: genuine warmth. With her soft voice, vintage-inspired fashion, and watercolor sketches of future homes, Aaron became the emotional compass of the show. She wasn't performing for the camera, she was simply being herself. Or so it seemed. Born in Mississippi and raised with strong Southern values, Aaron studied graphic design in college. That's where she met Ben Napier. Their love story, often referenced on the show, felt like something pulled from an old novel. Ben was steady, big-hearted, and head over heels for her. Aaron brought the vision. Ben brought the bill. Together, they were a dream team for HGTV. Behind the scenes, however, Aaron faced challenges that went far beyond furniture placement or wallpaper choices. Early on, she suffered from a rare and painful health condition. For years, she dealt with episodes that left her physically drained and emotionally isolated. This part of her life was mostly kept private until she opened up about it publicly, admitting that her health issues had nearly broken her. It gave new weight to her strength on screen. The fame that came with Hometown brought more pressure than she anticipated. Aaron was never someone who sought the spotlight. The constant attention, online speculation, and lack of privacy began to take a toll. She started setting strict boundaries to protect her family and mental peace. Her social media posts became more thoughtful and less frequent. Fans noticed, and while some were supportive, others questioned why their favorite designer seemed more distant. One incident in particular shifted the tone. A producer of the show passed away unexpectedly. Aaron posted a deeply emotional tribute, revealing how the loss affected her and the entire team. It was a moment when viewers saw her not just as a TV personality, but as a grieving friend and human being. Her vulnerability sparked conversations about the emotional cost of reality television. There were also rumors, mostly fueled by tabloids, about tension on set, creative disagreements, and the possibility of Aaron stepping back from filming. None of these stories were ever fully confirmed, and Aaron rarely addressed them. Instead, she focused on her family, her daughters, and using her platform to promote local businesses, artists, and mental health awareness. By 2025, Aaron remains the quiet soul of Hometown, but there's a noticeable shift in how she presents herself. Stronger, more private, and fiercely protective of her peace, Aaron continues to design homes with heart. But those close to the show know she carries much more than paint swatches in her hands. She carries the emotional weight of a life made public. The next one is Ben Napier. He never set out to become famous. He was a history major, a church youth leader, and a man who felt more at home behind a workbench than in front of a camera. When Hometown first aired, audiences fell in love with his warmth and craftsmanship. He seemed like the kind of person who would help a neighbor build a porch just for the satisfaction of seeing someone else happy. His role on the show was practical, yet essential. While Aaron handled design, Ben managed construction, brought vision to life with custom woodwork, and added a personal handmade touch to every renovation. With each passing season, his presence grew into something larger than the work itself. He became a symbol of quiet strength, of small-town values that never needed to be shouted to be understood. Still, fame came at a cost. As the show became a national sensation, Ben's life began to change. The schedule grew tighter, the days got longer, and the balance between work and home life started slipping. In 2021, he underwent shoulder surgery. The recovery process wasn't easy, and it forced him to step back and reevaluate how much of himself he could give to the show. By 2025, Ben will appear in Hometown less frequently. He now focuses most of his time on managing Laurel Mercantile and running the Scotsman Carver's Workshop, where he creates custom furniture pieces and mentors younger craftsmen. He spends more time at home with Aaron and their daughters, prioritizing family life over filming demands. Occasionally, he participates in community projects and speaks at local events, but he avoids large media appearances. His connection to Laurel remains strong, but his public visibility has softened. Though there have been whispers of creative fatigue and questions about his reduced presence, Ben has remained silent. He hasn't addressed any rumors about stepping away from the show or behind-the-scenes tension. What's clear is that he made a deliberate choice to protect his personal life from being swallowed by fame. He continues to be deeply respected by fans and loved ones alike, admired for his ability to stay grounded in a world that often rewards noise over authenticity. Next we have Mallalerie Raspberry. From the moment Mallalerie Raspberry stepped onto the screen, she brought a subtle confidence that needed no spotlight to be felt. A longtime friend of Aaron Napier, Mallalerie served as both a familiar face and a silent partner in much of hometown's behind-the-scenes heartbeat. Her appearances were never loud or dramatic. She moved through each episode with quiet focus, always handling business and decor with the ease of someone who had been doing it long before the cameras ever arrived. Mallarie's role on the show was closely tied to the Nowell mercantile. Alongside Aaron, she helped design and stock the shop that became the center of the hometown brand. Known for her vintage taste and warm style, Mallalerie shaped the customer experience in ways most viewers never saw. Whether it was arranging handmade goods or contributing design ideas, she was part of the team that made the show feel authentic. Off-screen, Mallalerie kept her personal life far away from public attention. She is married to Jim Raspberry, Ben's cousin, and together they've been involved in local revitalization efforts around Nowell. Mallalerie balanced filming, motherhood, and business without ever appearing overextended. That grace became part of her quiet appeal. As the years progressed, Mallalerie gradually reduced her on-screen presence. Her focus shifted toward raising her children and supporting the family's other ventures behind the scenes. While she continued to be involved with Nowell Mercantile, most of her contributions became more private, taking place off-camera. Fans occasionally wondered why she was seen less frequently, but her decision appeared intentional, choosing a meaningful presence at home over maintaining constant visibility in front of viewers. There have been no known controversies tied to Mallalerie. She has remained respected, both in Nowell and within the hometown community. If she's faced personal challenges, she's kept them private. Her strength has always been subtle, and that's likely how she prefers it. She seemed like a background figure, but in reality, she was one of the roots holding everything steady, anchoring the team with quiet influence and unwavering grace. Moving forward, we have Jim Raspberry. While Aaron and Ben led the design charge on Hometown, Jim Raspberry worked in the quieter shadows. A financial mind with a steady grip on the business side of things, Jim helped keep the growing empire grounded. His role wasn't glamorous, but it was vital. Without someone like him managing the logistics, supply chains, and economic flow, the charm of the show could have easily unraveled under pressure. As Ben's cousin, Jim had roots deep in Nowell. Together, they co-founded several businesses, including the Scotsman General Store and Nowell Mercantile. He wasn't always front and center on screen, but when he did appear, he carried himself with confidence and a quiet determination that added weight to the show's small-town authenticity. Outside the spotlight, Jim worked tirelessly to ensure that Nowell's revitalization was more than cosmetic. He played a leading role in local economic initiatives and community outreach. His devotion to the town was not performative. For him, Nowell wasn't just a backdrop, it was the mission. But as the show's popularity exploded, so did speculation. Some online chatter questioned his increasing absence, while others wondered whether there was tension behind the scenes. Nothing concrete ever surfaced. Jim stayed silent, keeping his focus on business and family. His marriage to Mallalerie, his dedication to their children, and his low-key lifestyle all pointed to a man who valued privacy over publicity. By 2025, Jim appears on Hometown only sporadically. He shifted his energy toward other ventures and continues to support the Napier brand from a distance. If anything, he has become more of a community figure than a TV personality. Walter Gaines. He wasn't in the spotlight often, but when he appeared, viewers noticed. With his easy smile, precise carpentry, and calm energy, he became one of Hometown's most beloved supporting figures. He wasn't the star, but he never needed to be. Every time a house was transformed, Walter had a hand in making it happen literally. From building kitchen islands to repairing floor joists, he worked with focus and care, adding a soulful touch to the bones of each home. Walter brought with him years of experience in woodworking. He wasn't just a carpenter, he was an artist of precision. Fans connected with him not only because of his skill, but also for his humility. He never forced a joke, never pushed for attention, and never made a scene. He simply did the work, and in a world obsessed with flash and flare, that quiet authenticity made him stand out even more. Away from the cameras, Walter led a modest life. Known in Laurel as a kind man, he took on local projects and often mentored younger craftsmen in the community. He didn't chase fame, and he certainly didn't rely on the show to define him. Walter seemed to understand something others missed. Fame was fleeting, but good craftsmanship had a way of lasting. As the years passed and the show expanded, Walter's appearances began to fade. Fans noticed. They posted online, asked questions, even started rumors. Some claimed he had health issues. Others believed he had moved on to private work. A few even speculated about disagreements behind the scenes. But Walter never confirmed or denied anything. His silence only deepened the curiosity. By 2025, Walter is no longer a regular on Hometown. While he hasn't publicly addressed why, it's believed he chose to step away to focus on personal matters and smaller projects that gave him more creative freedom. Some say he still works with the team occasionally, off-camera, lending advice, or helping when extra hands are needed. But his days in the spotlight seem to be over. There have been no scandals, no controversies, no messy exits, just a gradual, quiet retreat. True to his character, Walter slipped out with the same grace he brought in. Fans miss him, but they respect the decision. In a way, that might be his greatest legacy, not just the homes he helped build, but the dignity with which he walked away. Next is Amber Hayes. She stepped into the world of Hometown for just one episode in 2017, yet somehow managed to leave behind a wave of curiosity that never quite faded. Amber Hayes wasn't a builder, designer, or part of the recurring crew. Instead, she entered as a guest, bringing with her a completely different energy. A country music singer with a gentle voice and a radiant presence, Amber's appearance was brief but memorable. She had a warmth that fit seamlessly into the southern charm of Laurel, even though she wasn't originally part of its fabric. When she joined the show, it was to help with a special renovation. The episode was different from the usual, more heartfelt, more reflective, and Amber's appearance added to that tone. Her kindness resonated with the audience, and her fans from the music world saw her in a new light. Many expected her to return in a future episode, or perhaps collaborate again with the Napiers in some capacity, but she never did. After that single appearance, she quietly stepped back into her own career path, never addressing the show publicly again. Over the years, Amber continued focusing on music. Though she never achieved major chart-topping fame, she remained active in songwriting and small-town performances. She also became involved in a few community and charity events across Tennessee and Oklahoma, keeping her name in the mix without ever chasing the spotlight. Her career didn't explode, but she stayed committed to her craft, touring locally and releasing independent projects for her loyal fan base. By 2025, Amber Hayes is still active in music, though largely under the radar. She teaches songwriting workshops, occasionally performs at fairs and festivals, and lives a quieter life than many expected. She's taken on mentoring roles, helping young artists navigate the same industry she once entered with wide eyes. Her connection to Hometown is rarely mentioned now, except by fans who remember that one episode and wonder what could have been. There have been no controversies tied to her name, no arrests, no scandals, and no tabloid storms. She's kept her life remarkably clean in a business where that's far from easy. Some have speculated why her TV exposure didn't lead to more visibility, but Amber has never answered those questions. She simply kept moving forward. She was there and then gone, like a passing breeze in the middle of a crowded room. And perhaps that's how she wanted it. An artist who visited Laurel once, left a good impression, and returned to her own story with no explanation at all. Coming up, we have Kristen Robinson. His involvement in Hometown was so brief, many viewers barely caught her name. Yet her single appearance in 2020 sparked a ripple of interest among fans, largely because of her quiet poise and the way she seemed to connect instantly with the show's values. She wasn't part of the build crew or the design team, and she didn't belong to the circle of recurring personalities. Her presence, though, gave the episode a different rhythm, more reflective, more grounded. Her role was minor, but it wasn't forgettable. In the episode she featured in, Kristen appeared as part of a local community initiative. She was involved in a project that highlighted Laurel's grassroots revitalization, and while her screen time was limited, her warmth stood out. Her demeanor was thoughtful, and she brought an emotional weight to the story being told. That single moment made viewers curious. Who was she, and why didn't we see her again? After the episode aired, Kristen's name showed up on a few fan forums and comment threads. People speculated about her background and her ties to the town. Some believed she was a social worker. Others assumed she was part of a nonprofit. But no official confirmation ever surfaced. Kristen Robinson kept her personal life private, and after her one-time appearance, she disappeared from the Hometown world completely. In the years that followed, Kristen stayed out of the public eye. There were no interviews, no social media campaigns, no follow-ups. She never became a recurring cast member, nor did she return in any behind-the-scenes capacity. Her brief television moment faded into the long catalog of the series' history, and most fans eventually stopped asking questions. But a small number never forgot her and continued to wonder what path she took next. As of 2025, Kristen Robinson remains something of a mystery. There's no major online presence tied to her, and she's not known to be involved in any television or media projects. What little is known suggests she returned to a quieter life, likely still working within her community. There are no criminal records, no scandals, and no public controversy associated with her name. If anything, she seems to have chosen a peaceful exit from public curiosity, allowing her brief moment of recognition to stand on its own. While others used Hometown as a springboard, Kristen left without looking back. She appeared once, made an impression, and left people wondering if maybe that's all she ever intended. Some questions remain unanswered, but perhaps that's exactly the way she wanted it. Next one on our list is Josh Nowell. Josh Noel joined Hometown early on and became the logistical backbone of each project, tasked with organizing materials, managing crews, and smoothing out every unexpected bump. He turned construction headaches into seamless progress. Viewers saw him as the calm presence steering the ship, while others swung hammers or chose paint. Behind the scenes, he was the fix-it mind whose efforts rarely made the credits but always made the deadline. Josh's background lies deep in Southern hustle. He grew up in the region, learned construction and project management from a young age, and quickly gained a reputation for solving problems before they even arose. He seemed made for the unpredictability of Hometown plumbing and permitting twists. This practical mindset earned trust not just from Aaron and Ben, but from local suppliers and contractors as well. As the seasons piled on, Josh's role quietly shifted. While cameras focused more on Aaron's designs and Ben's craftsmanship, Josh was often in the background, making sure the next tool was ready, the right nails were ordered, and the schedule stayed on track. His absence would have been catastrophic. His presence didn't demand applause, but it allowed applause to happen. When the couple welcomed their children and schedules grew tighter, Josh began appearing less. By 2022, his on-screen contributions had tapered off. Fans noted his absence and speculated online. Some thought he had left for a new job. Others wondered if family circumstances pulled him back home. No official statement clarified anything. Josh simply faded from the narrative, silently stepping back as the show expanded. By mid-2025, he is largely off-camera. What is known is that he shifted focus toward community projects and local construction ventures. He seems to remain in Laurel, working quietly and independently. A few local social media posts show him mentoring high school vocational students or consulting smaller renovations in the area. His name still commands respect locally, though his TV presence has vanished entirely. There have been no controversies tied to his name, no public scandals, no arrests, no creative conflicts leaked. The only stories are the whispers of fans who missed seeing his steady strength in the background. In truth, Josh seems to have chosen privacy over credit, community over fame. He walked away before the show changed, and in doing so, preserved the integrity of what he loved to do. Last but not the least we have Emily Nowell. She seldom stood front and center, yet Emily Nowell quietly helped shape Hometown's soul and raised questions about why her role faded when it meant so much to the community. Emily appeared on screen several times between 2017 and 2019, often as a supportive presence beside her husband Josh and alongside the Napiers and Raspberries. She had a grounding energy, the kind rooted in long friendship and mutual purpose. Fans saw her helping in the Laurel Mercantile, overseeing operations, and carrying warmth in conversations with Aaron. Emily was more than a cast member. She was part of the group of 6 friends committed to revitalizing Laurel. Her role involved managing finance and operations, especially at the Laurel Mercantile store. She stepped in for accounting work, design strategy, and organizing stock, combining organizational skills with history and preservation sensibilities. She and Josh helped launch that business in 2016 and were named Vice Presidents of Operations when the Scotsman manufacturing venture began, creating 85 jobs in Laurel. Off-camera, Emily led a life marked by family and quiet leadership. She and Josh married in 2010 after a classic Southern small-town blind date. They restored a historic home and settled into Laurel, eventually welcoming 4 children. Emily's dedication to domestic life and work-life balance became clear as filming demands grew. In interviews, Josh emphasized that their choices were driven by legacy, not fame. What made Emily unique among the team was how effortlessly she balanced ambition and restraint. While the spotlight could have been hers, she was intentional in stepping back, not out of hesitation, but because she had a vision of legacy that didn't rely on the screen. She worked closely with local vendors, community leaders, and manufacturers, often helping steer the business in new directions from behind the scenes. Emily was also key in developing the aesthetic tone of the retail line. Many fans don't realize that several of the signature products on the Mercantile's shelves, their labeling, messaging, and backstory carried her influence. She had a deep understanding of Southern culture, and she used that knowledge to shape offerings that resonated with visitors from across the country. By the time Hometown reached national fame, Emily had already shifted gears, anchoring her family and focusing on deeper community impact. She supported Josh's increasing visibility on the show, but was rarely seen beside him in later seasons. While fans speculated, those close to the Nowells knew she was simply honoring the quieter, slower life she had always envisioned. As of 2025, Emily Nowell remains based in Laurel and continues to serve as a core partner in Laurel Mercantile Company, alongside Aaron, Ben, Mallory, Jim, and Josh. She plays a key role in managing the Scotsman manufacturing enterprise, contributing to the economic growth she helped initiate. She is not involved with filming and keeps her public profile minimal. There are no controversies tied to Emily. She has maintained a reputation for discretion, dedication, and integrity. Her decisions were never tied to drama or scandal. Fans occasionally ask why she pulled back from the screen, but the answer lies in a decision to prioritize family and community over TV presence. The beauty of Emily's journey lies in its quiet strength. She didn't need dramatic exits or big announcements. Instead, she left an impression that stayed long after the cameras stopped rolling, one built on trust, collaboration, and a steadfast belief in rebuilding not just homes, but a hometown's heart. What are your thoughts on the surprising fates of the Hometown cast in 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below.